On today's show, we're going to be exploring the most important YouTube updates that marketers need to know about, including a long-awaited feature that I was about to give up on. I don't know how long they've been telling us this was coming, but we finally have it. Also, some great features available only to larger channels are rolling out to smaller ones. A crucial update to titles on certain types of videos that could change our titling strategy. And how would you feel if viewers could add notes to your video that popped up while other people were watching? This is something that's being tested, and if that freaks you out, then make sure you keep listening for the details all about that. My name is Jerry Potter. Yes, it rhymes with the Boy Wizard, host of the Social Media Marketing Talk Show, where we break down the latest social media news and what it means for marketers like you. This is a Social Media Examiner production, and today I'm joined by Diana Gladney, a YouTube expert and consultant. Her YouTube channel is designed to help entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process, and she's the host of the Video Simplified podcast. Diana, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me back here, Jerry. It is a pleasure to be here.
So how long have we been waiting for the YouTube thumbnail testing to roll out to everybody? Has it been more than a year?
Oh, it's definitely been longer than a year. It feels like we're hitting like that 2 years of, like you said, just ready to give up. 2 years plus and give up.
Yeah, all right. But it's now supposed to be available to everybody. So tell us the details about this.
Yes. So finally, the long-awaited YouTube A/B or thumbnail testing, where you can compare one thumbnail version of on a video to another thumbnail version, where you may have seen this in other third-party tools, but not too bad. But YouTube is finally bringing that natively to the platform. But there's a few qualifiers there, and so. Number one, the limitations of this feature is that it's only going to work for your public long form videos, so your regular YouTube videos, live premieres that you have, but it will only go live after, like it's 11-minute premiere. After that 11-minute video is live and it just now is posting like a normal video, then that's when it would go into effect. And for your podcast episodes, then you would be able to go through the A/B testing, as well as it won't be able to be used for any made for kids content, which you still probably have to rely on a third-party tool for that. And the most important thing here is that it is specifically going to be looking for watch time. Which of these thumbnails contributes to the most watch time once a viewer clicked on this? And so I'm hoping that they will continue to expand that to include like the click-through rate and some other details that are important, like engagement and stuff like that, or at least be able to combine these to say this one, not only did they click, but they watched for a long time. This other one, they clicked on it, but they didn't watch, and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and I think, you kind of nailed it, where eventually it would be nice to be able to go in and say, hey, I want to determine a winner after this many impressions based on this specific factor. Or something. It's interesting. Any idea why they wouldn't include it for the made for kids videos?
I think there's always the concern, especially since the way back when they had the, just call it Kid Gate, since I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like Advertiser Gate or something like that. But essentially, I think it's more or less for protection of children and to prevent like abuse of probably their attention span and stuff like that, because they've really had to curate how kids content is. And so I would think it's more protection until they can figure out what's the best way we can do this without it, basically stepping over all the good work that they've done over the last several years.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess my channel's pretty tame. I've never received the daunting yellow icon, but for anyone who has received these warnings on their channel, YouTube is trying to be more transparent and more communicative about why a video got a certain violated a certain, some of the terms or something like that. So what are the updates around this, Diana?
Yeah, so if you're basically monetized on YouTube and you're wanting to vet the advertiser friendliness, that yellow mark is saying something is off with this video. And so the process for this is that you have to, number one, self-certify, and that's when you're uploading the video and you say, I'm telling you that this video does not have X, Y, and Z things on it. You hit OK. If it says yellow, then they are basically disagreeing with that. The other thing that is great about this, though, this update, now it's not as vague as it once was, and you're left guessing at what is offensive and potentially to whom. Now they're going to tell you specifically what the timestamps were in the video to say, hey, between this timestamp and this timestamp, a human is going to review it and say, this is what it is. It's too much offensive language here. You're talking about a sensitive topic. Sensitive being not potentially that is just offensive, but it is something dealing with children, difficult issues, social issues, psychological, probably health is going to be in there. And then probably say any governmental issues, stuff like that, like we saw in 2020. And then the other thing is once that human also reviews it, they'll tell you something else that we haven't heard or seen with this whole basic advertiser friendliness, is that the thumbnail or the title could be offensive and it's something wrong there. Maybe it has bad language in it, or you're showing something that shouldn't be, which I've seen some pretty hairy things on YouTube and they still were monetized. So, that's interesting to now see that they're saying nothing wrong with the video. That thumbnail needs some work though.
Okay. It's interesting too, because, we were discussing before we started that everybody has their own standards for what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And so if I'm understanding this correctly, a human will review some of this stuff, but they'll basically just be assigning a category. They're not going to say, hey, take out the barely clothed person and you'll be fine, or anything like that.
Yeah, they're just specifying, it seems like they're trying to get groupings of what the problem is, or just narrow it down so you know where to look. And then, but it is supposed to be a human looking at it. And they're saying that, granted, humans can still make mistakes. So you still can say, I disagree with this. And, here's why to go against that. But they'll at least narrow it down so you're not searching, a 20-minute video trying to pick apart every little different thing. You'll get more refined results with this. And I think that'll be a headache reliever.
Yes. You said some word we didn't like in your 2-hour live stream. Good luck finding it.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, the YouTube editor, you can't do a lot with a video that's already uploaded. You can trim off the front and the back. You can take something out of the middle. Is blurring one of the things that you can do later? Do you know?
I have not honestly ever had to mess
Ever?
with
Okay.
it other than like maybe once taking something out, but I try to stay away from that. If it's early enough, I've honestly taken the whole thing down, make the change and re-upload, and just people come back again, so.
Yeah. And I like that they're trying to communicate better, because obviously that's the best way for us to learn what not to do before it goes up. And then we don't have to deal with this at all. So, by the way, if you have been frustrated with these advertiser-friendly guidelines, they've now set it up so that you can subscribe to receive email notification updates to them whenever they change them. Doesn't mean they're not going to be in legalese and they'll be easy to understand, but you can at least not have to go back to a site and reread them and different things like that. So, hey, if you've been noticing a decline in your marketing results this year in 2024, if you're looking for a better way forward, if you're ready for a new plan, there is one place that you are sure to find it, and that is to join us at Social Media Marketing World. Jules McGuire had this to say about the conference: I have absolutely found what I needed here. It's been a jam-packed 3 days. Every single session I've attended, I've been able to take away probably 3 things minimum that I'm going to be able to immediately implement. And the biggest thing is that this is the place where, like, sometimes new businesses are launched, or existing businesses take off, or businesses come in on the verge of closing and figure out what they need to do to reach clients and customers. And it can be a total game changer. If you'd like to join us for Social Media Marketing World, right now go to socialmediamarketing.world. Again, that's socialmediamarketing.world. So another update, more and more, it used to be that to have the community posts, as they called them, and now they're just calling them posts on YouTube. It's kind of like a traditional Facebook feed. They keep now lowering the standards, and now pretty much everybody has access to these. So what are the latest updates around this?
Yeah, so they're expanding what you can do on these, and which I like a lot, that they're just thinking like, let's just keep adding to this, and that's adding to the ability to have better conversations with your existing community members on YouTube. And so what's happening now is they're including quizzes, poll posts, and expiring posts and stickers, which if you look at like a timely type something like we have Amazon Prime Day, stuff like that coming up, or something that's relevant for Social Media Marketing World for 25 versus 24. Okay, well, maybe that is a post that needs to go away because it's a limited time only. Something like that would be great. It's timely, especially when you think about your business. What are the different parts of the year that something's happening, but it's not going to be evergreen? This kind of stuff makes sense for it. And so all this stuff now is just coming to the ability to post on the community tab.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that YouTube's leaned into this more and more over the last couple of years, because this gives people, like, as a consumer, if I don't have time to watch a video or I can't have sound on, I would never open the app. But if this becomes a consumer behavior, then we have another reason to open the app. So not surprising at all. And it's sort of been on my secondary list of things to start taking more advantage of in 2024. Haven't gotten there yet, but and my favorite renaming in YouTube history is the research tab has now been renamed at some point to the inspiration tab, which I like. And they've given us a couple of more features that we can use to kind of figure out what videos we should be making next on a channel. So fill us in on those.
Yeah, so this one that I've been experimenting with that I'm finding is learning is the ideas and the outlines feature. And that is something that's an AI tool. You may have seen this across other platforms, whether that be email list, websites, or what have you, where it's taking what you natively would talk about, what your channels around, what people that watch your content like and, you know, like to watch from other people, and saying like, hey, here's an idea, but we're not just going to say make a video about this topic. Here's some bullet point outlines, and they'll give you like 2-3 different ones, which I've only seen it like around about 3 or so. And they'll give you 3 bullet points based on that topic. But one thing to probably watch out for, as this is still pretty new, is it may not be relevant, or it may repeat itself and just say the same thing twice. So sometimes it's helpful to refresh it or try to get it to re-trigger that. So I think this is something we'll see a lot of improvements to. And then the other thing is the breakout videos feature, which is that they're going to highlight well-performing videos from other similar channels, which if you dive into your YouTube analytics, they'll tell you and share with you already, you know, other videos that your audience is watching and engaging with. Now we're getting insight into that data, which I absolutely love, to see what is actually doing well, what's becoming an outlier, what's a new point of conversation, what's something that's actually happening that you may want to hop on top of. And so I like that. They're putting that on Studio Mobile and desktop. And again, just to give you more insights into that user social behavior of how they're not just watching, but how they're engaging with other content and what's actually performing well.
Yeah, so you've played with it. It sounds like it's very valuable. And just to confirm, or to clarify, you said refresh it. So literally reload the page and you've seen new things come up?
Yeah, or just like re-click out of that specific idea and click back into it to see if it'll re-trigger and give you different ideas. And then one thing is like, even if the bullet points is that, and that's more so what it is, it's just the bullet points for, it's like you could cover these points, drop that into Gemini, drop that into ChatGPT and say, this is what YouTube gave me, what do you think? And let it work, because obviously they're all kind of pulling from the same resources, but you can kind of have like a brain trust, if you will, using AI tools, which I find is like really fascinating.
Yeah, that's great. And that's interesting too, because AI does usually regenerate ideas. So it's nice if the ones that come up, as you said, weren't relevant all of a sudden. I did a video where I was testing a transcription tool a couple of weeks ago. And I actually went to, as an AI transcription tool, I actually went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, what phrases can I use to mess with a transcription tool that it won't be able to get? Gave me a bunch of suggestions. So I was like, it's AI versus AI. Here we go. We'll see who wins here. So the transcription tool won, by the way. It did really well. All right. So we knew this was coming someday. You know, people are able to make these videos with AI that can appear to be somebody else. And we started on YouTube as, if you are making something that is fake and you know it, you can clarify that during the upload process. But what if you see a video or you hear about a video that's fake and it's of you or your brand? And this is the latest thing that YouTube is now coming out and addressing. So what's been their response to this? And they've gotten on it early, I guess, which I like. But what's been the response to this?
I think it's been really smart, which is that they're changing the policy for that AI generated content. And number one, if a complaint is filed, number one, it needs to be from you, first party versus like third party or something like that. Maybe you have an agency or somebody working for you. They can't submit it. You need to submit that kind of a stuff to remove or edit it. The other thing is that there's same thing like we would have seen for like if somebody takes a clip of your video, uploads it to their channel just natively, same kind of a process, except it's now AI in your likeness. They're going to notify that person and saying, hey, this is a problem. You need to stop this, take it down, whatever the steps may be. And they got 48 hours to react to that. And if they don't, trim it, blur it, figure it out, do something different so that it's not like your AI digitized face. Or I think it'll become a point where all of our brands and businesses, including us individuals, make an AI version of ourselves. If they take our AI personalities and they're using them on their channels, your audience won't know if you authorize that or not. And so if they don't, you can request that takedown. So I like that they're kind of going that same takedown notice process for an AI generated personality image likeness of yourself. Even if you don't make it, they could take you, copy paste, AIify you,
Yeah.
and make a video. So now they can't.
Yeah, well, for anyone who's played with these tools, I mean, all you do is upload or record a sample. And so, if for any of us who have us online, anybody could do that. So, it's nice that there's kind of a formal policy. It's so, AI video is so bizarre to me. You know, like we think about things where it's like, you know, once upon a time it was like pics or it didn't happen, and then it was video or it didn't happen. And now it's like, it may or may not have happened. Like we're getting to that point where anyone anywhere can fake anything. So, all right, we've got, I want to tell you about this update here in just a few minutes where users can add notes to your video that, you know, may appear as other people are watching it. But first, let's talk about some updates. If you are on the comment side, if you manage a YouTube channel for a brand or it's your own channel, that can be really time consuming. So I like that they're continually adding new things that we can do this. So what are these updates around comment management?
Yes. So if you have a video that takes off, or you have a video that just has a lot of conversation and communication, something that you would have thought would have been there already, but it seems like something they noticed is coming through the gap. Let's fix it. And you can now multi-select, or if you have an assistant on your team, they can go in and multiple select things that need to be deleted, edited, or what have you. Now within the channel that they can do in the moderator mode. So I like that a lot. So if you do have a bunch of people, honestly, if you do like keyword search for a certain phrase that people are putting in your comment section, now you can multiple select, which honestly saves you time. And I think the mental bandwidth of having to deal with sometimes frustrations or things that trigger negative comments or negative threads in the comment section is just kind of getting ahead of that. So I like that you can remove them in bulk.
Yeah, well, and anyone who is marketing on YouTube knows that the money is made when you are spending time making high quality content. So the less that you can spend doing this stuff, is fantastic. And then the other comment update is something that I didn't even realize you couldn't do, but I guess until now we couldn't mention other channels unless it was on their channel. Is that?
Well, it was basically when it came out and you met the threshold that it initially released at for subscribership and such. Well, we could do that in the title of a video. We could do that in the description and obviously in the comments of your channel. Well, now we could go to another person's channel. I could say, hey, this is great at your channel name, because it's not just your handle. It's usually like your channel name. And say this timestamp is relevant for what we were just talking about, X, Y, and Z. And so now that's the thing in the other, videos and comment sections, which, again, it just kind of makes sense with all the other forms of communication audience-wise that we're looking at. So I just think this is something, again, slipped through the crack, and it's like, let's just fix it and patch the hole.
Yeah, well, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a spam fest, where that's how people are marketing their. So, sorry, did I put that in front of you now? Yeah. Well, because I've already, I get those on my channel now, and it's like, hey, check out this Instagram or check out this other channel or whatever. So, but hopefully, well, that's when the bulk select will come in handy, right?
They were thinking
ahead. There we go. All right. So one of the things to keep in mind when you are titling anything on any platform is how much of it is going to show. Is it going to get truncated? Is it going to get cut off? And they're starting to make a change to how much of a YouTube short title is showing, starting on Android devices. But talk us through here. What do we need to know about this?
Yep. So like you pointed out, this is specifically for Android devices right now. But I think of this in characters. How many characters does it take before that you can see the title of a YouTube short? Well, right now they're trying to declutter the Shorts platform, or player rather, because it's only, you can either scroll up or scroll down, and that's pretty much it. So they're trying to make that make sense. And I would imagine from desktop view as well at some point when you see the shorts somewhere in between your regular thumbnails. So the full title and description is going to be visible when you select that video, you tap on it to watch it. But otherwise, they're going down to 1-line titles for shorts without hashtags, up to 2 lines with hashtags or mention. So let's say YouTube has a bunch of shopping features and stuff like that being released, or promotions you may have access to. So it may be shop with YouTube, hashtag is the hashtag. Okay, well, that stuff, they want you to see, and they want you to know that this is consistent with our promotion or what have you, or whatever. Well, if it doesn't, then we're down to 1 line. So I would encourage creators and smart marketers to pay attention to how many characters. Put this to the test. Even if you don't have an Android phone, just try it, put it to the test, see how many characters you could get up to on one line and then versus two lines, and that should kind of keep you within the parameters to use like really smart copywriting for that small amount of text.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with that is you just have to put the most important words first. You know, you get rid of those and things like that. Assuming that the shorts title seems to, you know, make a big impact, as we know when it is scrollable. Now they say they want it to be a cleaner experience, but I do wonder if they just want more space for an ad at the bottom or things like that too. So
Well, they're playing the shorts now as a new update. I just saw it. They're playing the shorts kind of like when you scroll over a YouTube thumbnail and it starts to automatically play. Shorts are starting to do that as well. So I think there's some other stuff that's happening that they haven't announced yet that we need to probably be on the lookout for.
okay. Another thing YouTube's testing right now is user-generated effects in shorts. So tell us about these. What do we need to know about these?
Yep. So another YouTube experiment. So the details for this is that it's going to be in small groups. You can do a design of your own unique effect, publish these effects directly to Shorts, and then everybody, all creators, are going to be able to use these effects that you've created within your own Shorts, and you'll be able to access them from the effects tab. So if we think about how Instagram did this some years ago, let's say you make a creative filter that mimics what your regular videos look like, or a certain playlist even, or, you know, strategy that you have going on, then you can start making different effects that make sense. So I think that'll be fun. And like I said, think of it from a marketing perspective, all kind of use cases that we could roll this out with.
Yeah, and I imagine there'll be restrictions in terms of you can't put a website address. And I remember when Snapchat filters first came out, when I was at the agency, we would make some of those for clients, and I was like, yeah, you can't do that. You know, you find your workarounds if you need to. But all right, so AI, of course, continuing to impact literally everything. So a couple of important AI updates. One of them is, again, when we're talking about larger channels with lots and lots of comments, and now they are adding a tool, essentially, which is going to summarize the comments for somebody so they don't have to go through them. Is that your understanding of it? You're shaking. For anyone not watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, Diana's shaking her head. No. All right. Tell us about it, and then tell us how you feel.
Yeah. Okay. So in that order. So
Yes,
what they're
yeah.
doing is for Shorts, with this AI, they're going to organize these clips. And again, small number of viewers will see this on the mobile app, but it's only going to be for English language Shorts though. But what'll happen is they're going to sort it by quote unquote topics. And so AI is going to organize the comments into digestible themes. And if you imagine, if you've been on Amazon in the last couple months or so, and you're looking through product descriptions and you start to scroll down to reviews, there's an AI summary there based on the comments that are there now for reviews of a product that you're going to buy. That's understandable. There's no really content to consume in mass other than how is it working and should I buy it? Well, this is different here for your content, because now they're going to put this stuff together to see if whether or not it makes sense based on topics or discussions in the comments and whatnot. And so, like I said, it says creators can remove the topics by deleting individual comments. So I'm guessing it's starting to remove sources that contribute to that AI information, if you will, bubble or whatever. But it says it's going to exclude any held, block, or filtered comments. So probably check that comments that are held for review and just make sure, because it may still be contributing to it at some point, at least for right now.
You brought up the Amazon reviews because that's what I thought of as well. And I'm seeing it on Google now if you're looking up a business, and it'll say, people say they love the French toast, or, you know, whatever it might be. And I really enjoy that. So your concern is that if there's too many comments about a certain thing, it will detract from somebody actually, like with misinformation. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, because it's like you need to still give users and viewers, essentially at this point, give them the right to form an opinion of them watching the content first before reading a summary. They did this with another update that we covered about like an AI generated summary of the video. And it's like, give me as the viewer, there was something that appealed to me that made me want to click, that enticed me to watch it. Let me watch it and form my own opinion. Then when I go into the comment section, now I have formed an opinion. I can agree or disagree versus I'm leaning in and just like, I may not honestly want to watch something. Same way we kind of get put off with reviews for a product or a business. People, like, they don't respond to emails. They talk crazy to the customers. It's like, I don't want to go to that restaurant or what have you. But
Yeah.
If it's piece of content, I may disagree with all of that because those people have a skewed a version of X, Y, and Z. Like, let the viewer enjoy and watch and ingest the content, then go have the conversation, not the other way around.
Okay, I can see that side. I can see that side. All right, so YouTube has labeled a lot of their generative AI stuff Dream, and in the Dream track side, they've been playing with music with vocals, and now they're rolling out the opportunity to create instrumental tracks. Not very long though. So, what are the details around this with the Dream tracks?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, and it has I think some potential reach. What they're allowing it to do is generate a 30-second non-looping instrumental track. So if your video is 60 seconds, it's only going to be for that first 30 seconds, and then it'll just kind of stop, and it'll just be the audio of whatever is there. And it's based on text prompts and a genre selection. And so English only prompts right now, and then you can select if it's going to be pop, hip hop, country, classical, whatever the case is, and go from there. But I think specifically, like they mentioned, like pop, hip hop, country, or whatever. But I think specifically, this kind of puts you in the mindset of Instagram, TikTok in the early days, when you could pick a song, even YouTube to a point, you could pick a song that was popular, but it's just a basic instrumental, not necessarily by anyone. So I like this idea because this keeps you from having to worry about if that owner takes down their music piece and now it's not available, or like some of the things we've seen with more popular artists. This is not the case. It's just basic tunes that fit the point of the video, and it'll ride for a while, and hopefully that extends to 60 seconds.
Well, it's so bizarre that they limit it to 30 seconds, and they said, and we won't loop it either. Because I would just from a limitation standpoint, it doesn't seem like limitation was there. Like if an AI was going to make a 30-second, unless it's processing power, they're worried about. But even then, the looping, I feel like it would be relatively easy to do. But anyway, we'll see. Obviously, all of this stuff, as my AI obsessed friends always remind me, this is the dumbest and worst AI will ever be. So we'll see it keep getting better as we go here. Okay, couple of updates to YouTube Premium and that they're experimenting with. And one of these is rolling out fully. And I remember when it first came out in a test, I think both of us had some aversion to it, but now it's happening. So tell us about these, please.
Yep. So let's stick to the details, and then I'll share my opinion later if we got time. But YouTube Premium updates is going to be that jump ahead feature, which AI and user behavior is going to identify skip ahead points. So what this looks like in reality is if there's like specific interest, let's say in this video about the AI topics. Okay, well, they can say most people, as soon as you start watching the video, most people really skip to about 14 minutes in. And it's like, well, geez, Louise, is there still value there? And so that lets you jump ahead to a point that most people really saw valuable. Some, like I said, some good and bad there. But again, let the viewer go for the ride. Let storytelling, let all the marketing work and all the stuff go to work for YouTube and the viewer versus just saying, here, just go here. Forget everything else. This is what everybody cares about.
Yeah. Well, and as I think about this, like when I worked as a radio personality, we assumed people were jumping in the middle of our content all the time. So we would constantly reset it. And even now with podcasts, we will reset the topic as we go because, somebody might have paused the podcast because they got to their destination. They don't pick it up again for a week. But I just assume if somebody's watching a YouTube video, unless it's an hour or two, they're watching the YouTube video. And so, this skip thing, like, oh, it gets good at 14 minutes. Maybe not if you don't have the context, as you said, from what was discussed in the beginning. So,
I have one concern with this that we didn't talk about the last time we mentioned this, is that simply that I want to see analytics or data or them discuss the point of what people put this for watch later. We probably got a bajillion videos for watch later, but what are the chances somebody actually comes back to that video and finishes? I think just like you said with podcasting, it's not going to be necessarily great. So I think this may do more harm potentially than good. Always hoping that we're wrong around this, or I'm hoping I'm wrong in this aspect. But it's like, what are the chances that they come back to even watch that video? Not great.
Yeah, and they said that in the testing they didn't see an impact on watch time, but of course that we know it'll be good for YouTube if they keep it. But that doesn't mean it'll be good for us, the people that are creating videos for YouTube, because YouTube doesn't care if they watch our videos so much. They just want to make sure they're watching videos. somewhere on YouTube. So, all right, and then this is an odd experiment, and I can see the benefit of it, but essentially, well, I'm going to have you explain it because I think you can definitely do it better than me. But they're testing letting viewers add notes to videos, and this is different than adding a comment to a video. So, run us through what that means exactly.
Yes. Well, all of the people that watch your YouTube videos, your content, or what have you, what's going to happen is the viewers will be able to go to your video and decide what note is left specifically to say, number one, like it could be around what this is about, giving additional details to what you're discussing or what have you. And so they're giving commentary, if you think about it in that respect. They're giving commentary on this video that may be seen as valuable to other viewers. The ways that I can see this being extremely helpful and valuable is education-based content. When you're looking at, academically. So you have something like on the Discovery Channel or what have you, and they're like, oh, I just did a paper about this. Did you know that such and such, whatever, something. So that may become a note that adds to the conversation. I think that's fantastic. But again, there's always the potential, no different than we still may see on some older or more recent videos where people will say main point started at this timestamp or whatever. And then if you leave that comment, you just have people again jump to that timestamp. So if the note just says, well, basically they just say AI is coming to take your job and it's going to make your content irrelevant. Somebody can steal your face. And that's pretty much it. If that's the note, that's it's like, no, I mean, yes and no, but it's some, it's a 50-50 give there. Academically wise, educationally, I can see it adding to the conversations for depth, but I can also see it detracting from the conversations for depth.
And the only thing I didn't see was that the person who created the video or manages the channel is going to get to approve anything. They're just going to show the ones that they deem appropriate. I would love to have people add interesting things to the videos or, things they feel like if something stops working. I do a lot of social media videos. Something stops working and they found another workaround or for certain devices or something like that. So, all right. Well, it's just in testing right now. What's that?
It's a pinned. No, I'm saying it's a pinned comment or a moderator's comment or something like that. But yeah, it's no creator control. This is solely an audience designated thing, which is, I think they're just experimenting with a lot. Like what happens if we just give them everything up front and, figure it out. You make the content, but it's mostly now 100% like in the viewer's aspect of what do they want to watch, how fast, go here, do this. A lot of those kind of updates that I see they're testing when you look at it as a whole. It's like I said, it could be a good thing and it has potential to be a bad thing.
We'll see. I like that they experiment. All right. Well, if you want to check it out, it's only available to US users and it's only in the app. So if you are scrolling in the YouTube app, maybe you'll get prompted to add a note or maybe you leave a comment and they'll say, hey, would you like to add this a note? But that's the limitation on where they're doing it as of right now. So quick reminder, learn more about Social Media Marketing World today and grab your ticket to join us. Again, go to socialmediamarketing.world. At socialmediamarketing.world. And Diana, where's the best place to discover more about you?
Of course, since we're on YouTube and you might be listed on podcast, but at Diana Gladney you can find me literally anywhere on the interwebs or DianaGladney.com.
All right, and a couple more podcasts for you to check out. The Social Media Marketing Podcast, as well as the all-new AI Explored podcast. Find them wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, may you be wise with your marketing decisions. Thanks, everyone. Bye.